Sponsoring not just qualifying but also Division A in the 2024 Pitcher Partners Sydney 300 is Nicholas Agar from Lendrive Finance. Mate, very nice to see you.
You too, mate.
Thanks for coming on back to the Pitcher Partners Sydney 300, and more importantly, we're going to talk about last year to this year in just a moment, but more importantly, let's focus on the fact that you are invested in this both as a racer and as a sponsor through the great people at Lendrive Finance. Tell us a little bit about Lendrive and what it's all about.
Yeah, so Lendrive, we do car loans, asset loans for personal and business. We don't do home loans, we don't do any of that. We just specialise in what we do. Pretty much anything with wheels, we should be able to finance for you. We're lucky enough to have a great team. Everyone's really good at what they do. We're based here in Sydney, also got an office up in Queensland. And yeah, that's us.
My neck of the woods. Is it specific fragments and sectors of finance that you...
Yeah, so pretty much just cars. We do cars, we also do business equipment. As I say, pretty much anything with wheels. Like the other day we actually financed the guy a lawnmower. So you know, if it's got wheels, we can finance it. But that's our specialty, so we sort of stick with what we know and don't really branch out into other stuff. You know, that's what we're good at, that's what we do, so that's what we stick with.
And that's why you've got a good reputation preceding you. Now, let's take the corporate hat off in just a moment. I want to ask you one more question about the Lendrive Finance side of things and why you as a racer but also as a business wanted to get involved in this event commercially.
Oh, well, we started racing a couple of years ago, and Terry's been really good to us, you know, helping us out along the way as well. So when he reached out and said, you know, would you like to jump on board as a sponsor, it was good for him, good for us, get the name out there. So yeah, happy to jump on.
Not that we don't love our other sponsors just as much as we love you, but this guy's more than double invested anybody else, ladies and gentlemen, with $500 on the line for each of the fastest cars within the 5 divisions in qualifying. And then, of course, Division A, A first, second and third. Now, just on Division A, have you had a look at the form guide? Who do you like in Division A tonight?
Oh, mate, it's 300. You never really know, do you? You've always got your top 3 to 5 guys, you know, that are out there. But as we've seen over the years, you never know. You never know.
History would suggest that you are sponsoring the outright winner.
Well, that
division.
was the plan, but you know we've seen B and C win from there as well. But yes, you know that was the thinking behind it.
All right, very nicely done. Let's talk racing side of things now. As we know, you are you admitted it yourself a few moments ago, a relatively new competitor.
Absolutely.
But there's a significant change in the machinery and the wheels for 2024. So the combination, again, Nicholas and Simon Agar for those tuning in at home. But last year it was a Nissan Pulsar, mate. Talk me through the debut for you two in the Pulsar in the Pitcher Partners Sydney 300. It was your first outing last year.
Yeah, it was. So, long story short, none of the other cars were ready to race. So,
you're telling me you got a few to choose from?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, you know, we've got quite a few cars, and you know, they're always going through development. At the time, nothing else was ready to race, so I reached out to my mate that actually owns a Pulsar and said, "Can I borrow your Pulsar to race in Sydney?" Unfortunately, we got about an hour and a half in, and one of the drive shafts just completely blew up, and that was our night done for that time.
They've got more than one. Boys and toys, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah,
We've always said
we
it's
do
an addictive and expensive drug once you get sucked into it. Now, obviously, what we're looking at here, ladies and gentlemen, is a very impressive bit of kit, and it's a little bit history making in terms of the Sydney 300. Second Veloster we've ever seen on a 300 grid, but the first one here at Sydney Motorsport Park. However, you were actually planning to run a different Hyundai, am I right?
Yeah, so we were planning to run the Hyundai i30N sedan. That's a brand new car getting developed for Bathurst. It was almost ready, but unfortunately some parts didn't get here in time. So we said, okay, that's out. So last week we made the decision at the last second to stop on that car and start on this car. Swap the engine, the gearbox out, and started getting this one ready to run, so at least we could get out there and run in something.
Without giving too much away, you've not long arrived trackside, so you actually haven't had a steer of this today.
No.
But You were here last night. Talk us through how car prep's gone and how it's going out there on the track for you, mate. Are you comfortable? Are you happy?
Last night was a bit of a mixed bag. It was not what we expected. Towards the end of the night, it started to get a little bit better. But there's been a lot done to this car. So it's had a roll cage put in it since we've done any suspension setup. So it's sort of changed the car a lot. We had to take one of the diffs out and put another diff in, which I won't mention any brand names, but it's not working at all. So every time we get on the accelerator, unless the steering wheel's straight, it just lights the wheels up. But we're going to try and soften up the front and get a little bit of that drive out of the corners back, and hopefully that fixes some of the problem.
Normally in racing parlons and circles, we talk about sibling rivalry.
Yes.
But it's not rivalry tonight, it's a team.
No. Look, we've had it since we've been kids, whether it's been anything, racing, basketball, absolutely anything. In actual fact, it's good. It pushes both of us. So, you know, when he goes a little bit faster, I go, okay, cool. And I go a little bit faster, and, you know, it does push us. Never in a bad way, always in a good way.
No, you are part of, I believe I'm right in saying, the heavily stacked Division C tonight.
Well, no, actually, I think we're going to change divisions. So initially when we entered the I-30 in Division C.
That's right,
that was a clear division car. When we changed the cars, I don't think the division updated.
Okay.
So before qualifying, I've already spoken to Terry, but I'll run up and make sure that's updated. Based on the times,
are you jumping up a division or down?
Definitely up a division.
Into B.
Based on the time, no, down.
Oh, down
We're going
D.
the other way.
Down into
the
D.
other way.
Yep.
Based on the times it's doing, I think it might even be in Division E.
Okay, right on. Well, I guess, if anything, that makes the bid for prize money a little bit easier, because if you're in Division C, there's no bigger division in the field. However, irrespective of the size of the division, mate, you know as well as I do that these races aren't entirely straightforward. Wherever you end up tonight, you will work for that money if you're lucky to be on the receiving end of it.
Yeah, exactly right. You know, I mean, we would obviously be wanting to run in a higher division, absolutely. But, you know, as I said to someone earlier tonight, you know, it's better to jump in this and go for some laps and sit on the lounge and watch TV tonight.
Well, I mean, there's some good options after the race. Formula
Absolutely.
1 qualifying, Indy 500 qualifying. Let's straighten up for a moment, though. Have you had a chance to suss out the opposition within Division D and E to know what you're up against?
Yeah. So we've had a look. Division E is 90% where we're going to end up. And it looks like we're going to be up against a couple of Polestars, which were in last year. An MX-5, and I think there's a Lexus out there as well.
Yes, only like the Veloster, only the second ever Lexus to run in a 300. And I mean, Hyundai's got a vast history in the race, but Lexus, literally only second ever Lexus in a 300. Right. So
I think we might have an advantage in a straight line, being a turbo.
Yep.
It's just if we can get this drive out of the corners working. You know, see where we end up.
How are you feeling about the weather, mates, and the threat of potential rain later on?
Weather should be fine. You know, we're running the Okies, and they seem to be good in the wet. But, you know, I still think come tonight, I think it's going to be a dry race.
All right, and I reckon there'll be a few people up and down the lane hoping you're absolutely right there. However, the turbos and the all-wheel drive boys, they are licking their lips. They're doing their rain dance at the moment.
Yeah.
Hey, last one before I let you go. Am I right in assuming that the I-30 will be the project for next year?
Yes, absolutely. So we should have that ready for Winton, definitely.
Yep.
And come next year, yes, it'll be the I-30 running. And all these cars should be sold by then, and we should just be focusing on that.
Just focusing on one.
Focusing
Make it
on
so
one.
much easier. And just quickly, can I get a comment from you on regards to the traffic factor out there tonight and how you're feeling about constantly being in it for 77 laps?
Yeah, well, I mean, that was why we were hoping to get into a higher division.
Yeah.
Being in a lower division, it's always hard because if you're one of the slower cars, you're always having faster cars come past you. We had that in Bathurst as well. Even if you're in one of the middle divisions, it's not too bad. You know, you're overtaking, you're getting overtaken, it's not so bad. Being in one of the, say Division E or Division D, it is a little bit harder because you're always up against traffic no matter where you're going. But having said that, you know, we just got to get out there, focus on the race and see where we end up at the end of the night. Hopefully finish.
Hopefully finish.
That's the goal.
Am I right in saying that wasn't the case last year?
No, last year we had the CV
that's
joint
right.
completely explode on us, and yeah, we were out after about an hour or so. So.
One of many family entries in the Pitcher Partner Sydney 300 of 2024. We're excited to see how the Agar boys go. We're even more excited to see Lendrive Finance, who the recipients of the checks are at the end of the night, mate. And you up there shaking hands on the podium. So one way or another, you're on the podium tonight. Well, let's look at it like that.
We'll see how we go. Yeah?
All right. Hey, Nick, thank you, mate. I appreciate you catching up with us, taking time out of what is going to be a very busy day for you, and thanks for coming on board and supporting the event.
Appreciate it. Thanks, mate.